meeting in order after all the excitement. This is a regular meeting of February 4. Roll call, sir.
Commissioner Mullins.
Aye.
Commissioner Gallagher.
Here.
Commissioner Wilkins.
Present.
There's a quorum present.
As you wish, please stand for the pledge and the invocation. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, we ask your presence and your guidance as we do the business of the county. Be with us individually and collectively. We ask all this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you. Consent agenda consists of the minutes of last week's meeting, removal of inventory from Public Administrator and JDC, and appointment orders from Jessica Barton and Shelby Belknap, the prosecuting attorney. Now, last week we tabled the Public Administrator's request so we can make sure that that list of inventory items has been submitted. And it has been, so now it's on the agenda. So, motion please.
I move that we accept the consent agenda as printed.
I will second that.
All in favor of that consent agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. We have a bid award from the Road and Bridge for concrete box culverts. This particular one in the picture is one that our crew made a few years back, and it's being set in place by, I believe, our rubber-tired loader.
I think that was right after it was built, not
Okay.
sitting in place. That was at the jail facility being constructed.
All right.
John Gross, Highway Administrator. A few weeks ago, we bid out 120 linear feet of box culverts, and we would like to award that to McCann Concrete Products for a total purchase price $19,224
For the 120 units.
for the 120 linear feet. It's going to be
Linear
20,
feet, excuse me.
20 units.
And that's delivered
That's delivered
to the site,
to the jail,
to the jail.
to our storage facility.
Okay,
And
so
then we move them as
we haul
needed.
them from there to
Yes.
there. And will our rubber-tired loader lift those?
Yes.
Okay, so we can
And the
lift.
estimator sets them.
Okay, all right, good. Any
That's
questions?
my recommendation.
Do I have a motion?
I move that we move on the recommendation of the Highway Administrator and approve the purchase of box culverts.
Okay, second?
I will second.
I'll ask a question. How much variance was there in the bid prices?
About 700 to the next competitor,
Oh, pretty close.
pretty close.
Okay.
And then the other one varied about 7,000.
And whenever we get to discussion, I want to make a comment.
Well, we're in discussion now.
Okay, and John could probably tell you too, there are different vendors for those box culverts, and there's different qualities from those others. Some of them have bellies on them that didn't set up right, and it's important for them to set close together, and
They
so
need to
the
make very
consistent
close.
use is, or construction is important, and I think these guys are good.
We've had good luck out of these.
Yeah.
We can
used
see
them
these,
last
what I
year.
call Lego ends on them,
Yeah.
that they interconnect. And there's inside and outside, or male and female, where the end piece will not have this shape on it. But that has to be pretty accurate in this large piece of formed concrete. That to pull together a nest, and we'll put a gasket in there too.
It does include all the mastic to join these boxes.
All right.
What's
with
under the
bid
box
price.
culvert?
Huh?
What's under the box culvert there?
The slabs.
A pan.
Oh, those
Yeah.
are rubber tires for
Okay.
cushioning.
You gotta set it down on.
Yeah.
Also, the size of those, one will fit in the back of a dump truck, is that right?
Yes,
That's a pretty good load, isn't
right,
it?
it is.
Okay, any questions from the floor? Okay, all in favor of accepting this bid, the lowest bid, and we appreciate that. Please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, thank you so much, John. Bid request IT.
Why don't you bring a chair?
Yeah.
Dan Duncan, IT. First is the annual computer replacement. We've been doing this project for the last 3 years where we recycle the county employees' computers, just to keep it in that maintenance of 3 to 5 year cycle. It's the same process that we've done the last couple of years. So it's my recommendation that we bid out this project for our annual PC computer replacement.
I didn't hear, do you know about how many?
It'd be 50.
50 units, okay.
That's the plan, to 50, and that's between the annex, the courthouse, and the sheriff's department, the sheriff's department as well, so.
Will they all be alike?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, there won't be any mix match, that's what we're gonna ask for, all the same type of, brands.
Okay, and your recommendation is?
My recommendation is to seek bids for this project, for the replacement of computers on this cycle.
On that being said, I would move that we seek qualified bidders to
And I'd second that.
Okay, on a joke, I put a picture of one of my first computers, that's for 2E, and Dan tells me he just discarded one of
We
these.
had a couple like that at the sheriff's department last year.
Hadn't been used a lot,
No,
probably.
it hadn't been used.
Okay, okay. Any other questions, comments? Yes, Rich?
Yeah, I have to ask. Same software and everything?
Yes.
Uh,
Windows 10, at least with a, what we have been doing the last couple of years is that instead of just a regular hard drive, where it's a little slow, we've been actually putting a solid state drive in these as well, including the standard 500 gig, 1 terabit gig hard drive. They're booting up in about 20 seconds.
Sure.
From powered off to sign on, so it is definitely not having to wait for the window to come
Like
like
that.
the spinning side, so.
How many PCs do we have in the county for which you're responsible?
We have 200 and between everything, laptops, computers, desktop servers, you're looking at 250, 270 in that area.
I had a higher number than that, but that's including those in the police cars too.
Yeah, so
So
it's,
it's 380, something like that, total.
it's quite a bit.
Significant.
It's very
And
significant.
202 employees currently, I believe, so 1.5 per employee, something on that order.
Right.
I have 2, I got this one and that one in there, so.
Well, this is not cheap, I know, but if we're doing it annually and upgrading it, it's a whole lot easier to.
Yeah, and it is a budgeted item for this year as well, so.
And what do you do with surplus units?
We keep them, obviously we remove the hard drives, we label them, we keep them for a year, just in case if anything is needed
For
off.
3 years?
For a year.
A year.
Yes, and that way, if there's anything that's needed off of that hard drive from that particular PC, we can bring out the hard
You
drive.
keep the hard drive,
Yes.
but not the.
We just keep them just in case, and then what we do is we'll take them to, because you really don't get a whole lot of money if you sell them, and it just takes time and effort to do that.
Which recycling is-
Recycling, so the
Yeah.
Midwest Recycling Center in
Market.
Park Hills is where we usually end up disposing those, so.
Right. Any other comment? We do have a motion second, correct?
You do.
Okay, any other comments? Okay, all in favor of this bid request, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And Amber, is it possible, when we submit a bid request, to add on to that a bid or a quote, and that estimates will not be approved on any of the bid requests? Is that good verbiage, or?
Yeah, I think that
Because
would
we
be
don't
fine.
accept estimates, but we still give the occasional estimate.
I guess what we always say is, if we say it's an estimate, then they can change their pricing. And
An
then
estimate says, I
you
think
get
I
into
can do it
where.
for this, but it might be more, yeah.
Right.
So, right. So if we can kind of look at that verbiage on our bid request, I'd appreciate that. Okay, and the other thing is, that was a very modern computer when I started. I started on a mainframe with Fortran 4 language and key punch cards, so.
Was there electricity in?
There was electricity, but we were still square. Okay.
And Christmas.
Right, do I have a motion? Did I get the passage on this?
That was
Okay,
done, yeah.
thank you. We're moving along. Dan Duncan again, we're not moving that fast.
I'm requesting to seek bids for a radio equipment upgrade. This is for between the annex and the courthouse for the deputies. Building type construction, the way it was built, it's hard for RF transmission waves from a 5-watt radio to get out of a building of such type, like at the courthouse especially. It's difficult to get back to our dispatch in Park Hills. So we're looking to install some equipment that will help boost power, as you could say. So when the deputies are on the radio, it's boosting the power of their transmission back to the 911 center.
So this is the portable?
This is the equipment to increase the portable outage back to
Yeah,
dispatch.
that's it,
Plus,
yeah.
this also will tie into the security system that we approved earlier this year for the courthouse and at the annex as well. So again, it'll help boost the radio transmission, so. That's my recommendation.
Recommendation. Do I have a
My
motion?
recommendation that we seek bids for this project.
Well, I move that we take your recommendation and solicit bids for our radios.
Second?
Equipment upgrade.
Equipment, yeah,
Radio
not
equipment
radios.
Upgrade, yeah, I didn't read it up, I'm sorry.
I will second.
Okay, now, question, the radios will stay the same, basically.
Yes.
Just
Still
the
VHF.
background
It's the
equipment for-
infrastructure to go back to dispatch.
Is it like a repeater?
It is. It is.
Okay, I have a motion second. Any other questions, comments? All in favor of passing this bid request, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you so much, aye. AED,
I'm requesting the commission's approval to seek 6 AEDs, automated external defibrillators for the annex, courthouse, and the Weber Road facility. This is a budgeted item. Currently, we don't have any of these life-saving equipment throughout the courthouse and the annex. I believe there is one located at the Weber Road facility back in the morgue area. but we're looking at that.
No, don't do it.
Right. We're busy
Don't do
with
it.
such like that. I'm looking to install one on each floor here at the annex. That way it's easily accessible for employees and or visitors if something would happen. Across the street, one stationed at the security station and one on the 3rd floor. Because sometimes there may not be enough available that can leave the station with the device. And then one at the front of Weber Road entrance as well. I do have, once we do get these AEDs, I have worked out with the fire department to provide training for all county employees. Not only into CPR, but as far as use of the AEDs. And it's $25 a person, but that's just to cover the material. They're not making any money off of it, it's just the materials only. So, but once we have those devices actually installed and on site, we'll conduct the training.
Right, and they need they need to,
Service.
yeah, service or check or whatever.
And-
There's one at Road and Bridge Department.
And I have spoken with Dave Tetrow with St. Francis County in this district. If we purchase Zoll AEDs, they are the certified inspectors of those type of devices, and he said that they will actually inspect those and check the pads and everything else on the devices as well for us. And that's my recommendation.
Recommendation. Motion?
We seek bids on this.
Would move that we approve the solicited bid for the automated external defibrillators.
I'd second the motion.
I got to interrupt here with a story. Sandy and I once met a lady named Chris in St. Louis. And Chris was driving through the Mid-Rivers Mall shopping area one hot summer day, and driving slowly, car doors locked, windows rolled up, air conditioning going full blast. And she passed out. And her car just eased over against the barricade, stopped, kept running, all that, but stopped. 3 cars stopped behind her. The first car was an off-duty fireman. He couldn't get in a car, so he instantly knew to go take the trailer hitch off the back of his truck, use that hunk of steel to break to get in. I wouldn't have thought of it. The second car was an RN working in a cardiac unit. She instantly diagnosed fibrillation. The third car, and hang on, was an AED salesman with a sample. Praise God. Yeah.
Whatever works.
We talked to Chris, and she had changed her career from whatever she had been doing. She's now a spokeslady for the AED company. So I just got to tell you that story. I have a motion.
They've been proven to, they are effective.
And this finishes our building. We're working on security, safety in our buildings, and this finishes our buildings with supplied AEDs. Hopefully, gladly, we've not had one that I know of, not had the need for one that I know of, but it could be tomorrow.
Yeah.
So,
We're gonna classify that story shocking.
shocking, right? Anyway, moving right along. This is almost as bad as the morgue thing. Okay, I have a motion second. Any other questions, comments? Yes, Dan?
I just wanted you to know that we do have them at the jail and they have worked there, we have used.
You have had needs?
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay, I don't mean good that you've had the need, but anyway,
Right.
that you were supplied. Okay, any other questions, comments? All in favor of getting this bid request, please say aye. Aye. Aye, thank you so much. Another Dan Duncan.
I'm requesting to seek recommendation from the commission to upgrade the sheriff's department's email postage service at this time. Their domain is different than the rest of the county employees. At a later date and time, we're gonna be looking at some changes as far as our current SFC Gov email accounts, but we need to work on replacing the sheriff's department's email account. The current hosted vendor, Silver Data Systems, is trying to move away from that type of material, and we're looking where it's more for a system that will give enhanced security, reliability, and storage, more additional information for the reliability, storage, and security. We're looking to upgrade to Microsoft Office 365. What's nice about Office 365 is that it works with a lot of programming softwares. Easily available. You can get it on your phone if you need it to check your email and such. There is a state contract. I don't have the concrete numbers at this time from the state contract vendor. So I can't tell you how much exactly it's going to cost. It is a budgeted item through IT, but I do not have the concrete numbers for what the total will be. So if we want to table it, we can table it. but it will be on state, through a state
You're
contract.
asking for a solicitation of bids, right?
Well, through the state contract, because it's the vendor SHI, the state contract, they could provide us with this proposal for the
What
sheriff.
your motion is to negotiate, to authorize him to negotiate for our price, so that you'll have to come back and authorize it, but there is not really a bid since it's a sole provider.
Yeah, I'd make that motion. That we authorize the.
Bid request if needed. Is that what we're saying?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, second?
Second.
Any questions?
Well, policy says if it's gonna be over 6,000, that you have to approve him
Right.
to use that state contract, so I think that's really what is
Okay.
going on here.
We can go with state contract, but we still have to approve it. Is that
Yes.
correct?
It's
Right,
over
it
that.
will
He doesn't
definitely-
have an amount yet.
It will be
Right.
over the $6,000 threshold. I just
Well,
don't have
that's
the
what I
exact.
But we
number
approve it
for
after we get the dollars,
That's right.
after we get the amounts.
Yeah, but
Or
we're
you-
soliciting bids.
Well, after you get the bid.
You're basically authorizing him to use a state contract to purchase this item,
Okay,
not really bidding it,
but we don't bid it or
No,
approve
we
it
get the
before we
price.
know the numbers.
and that's
Okay.
absolutely fine.
Yes.
Okay, and there's no time situation on that,
Hopefully I'll have
immediate or
some-
anything like that?
Hopefully I'll have something, I'm working with them this week, but
Okay,
again, try to coordinate with them as well, so I want to try to have the figures for the next meeting, but if not, it'll be definitely sometime this month. so.
okay, I have a motion second. Any questions? All in favor of this impending purchase, let's say it that way, please say aye. Aye. Okay, and aye, thank you. Now, this is sheriff, but Dan might be involved here, yes.
This next one is the second part of what we're gonna do with that first one.
Yeah.
They've got the price, and now you need to authorize whether to do it.
Okay, now the first one, you're talking about the upgrade of the radios a while ago,
Correct.
Correct, the radio system,
system.
yes.
Okay, now we're talking about the radios
The
themselves.
actual portable radios
Okay.
themselves, yes.
Dan, you wanna be involved in this one, or how you wanna work this?
Dan can handle it. We've
Dan
been
or
talking-
Dan, either one.
talking
Okay, we'll go
together,
with this
and
Dan for now.
He's got the mic, so let him.
Okay.
So I'm requesting the commissioner's approval to approve a state contract for the sheriff's department for 65 portable radios, and that's including the lapel mics, earpieces, holster, charging station, as well as programming software, in the amount of $26,148.72, $26,148.72 to A&W Communications. They are on a state contract. The radios themselves are both VHF and also DMR, digital mobile radio compatible. So in the event that dispatch does go to a digital type network, depending on which they choose, these portables will also work with that network as well. That's my recommendation that we do accept this.
Okay, question before we go for a motion. Last year, Dan, when we looked at this, there was a trade-in value of the old records. Is that still going? The old radios, is that still going?
No, it is not.
Yeah, I just couldn't get in the budget last year to do
That is
that.
just a one-time deal, and it wasn't as good as it sounded anyway.
Okay, well, I couldn't,
And this,
the budget wasn't there.
and this is an item that would be taken, budget out of the sheriff's account. Again, with the portable radios that we have now, it's a lot of mix match. Some don't have them, they're
Right.
broke, beyond repairable. So
And you've salvaged parts, and I know you've done
they've
that,
done
yeah.
everything that they can possibly do, and it's just, they're old, and it's time to upgrade their portable radios.
Again, it's time to make sure our security and safety is updated.
Correct.
And this is a budget item.
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Okay, and
I move that we accept the recommendation to purchase portable radios for the sheriff's department.
I will second.
any other questions, comments? This budget item, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, thank you so much, Dan.
Thank you.
I think we're gonna shift speakers now. This is going to the county clerk.
Well, we're gonna go back to Dan after all, because I'm gonna ask him to give you an update on the website after all, because we just put all the expenses from January on there, and he's gonna talk about that.
Okay, we'll do that in departmental.
Yeah, and then CPI, I sent you all reports that the official CPI last year was 2.3%, and that affects two things basically, the potential rollback and in the budgeting of salaries, and we've always used that as a guideline, not necessarily going exactly to it, but we use that as a factor. So it would be appropriate to acknowledge that that was the rate in the form of a motion, to say that we've taken that in
And talking about salary, we're not talking about going back, we're talking about going forward.
This is forward, this is
Okay.
forward to next year's planning, but you always acknowledge what the CPI rate was. So
Okay.
I would just soon have it so that you know that we entered it in the record, what that rate was.
Okay, and that's, of course, the consumer price index.
I would move that we accept the consumer price index from the county clerk in the amount of 2.3%.
I'd second that.
Okay, any questions? All in favor of us adopting the 2.3% as our official CPI index? Not the CPI index, CPI, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you so much. We have a request from the auditors for the approval of the 2019 budget amendments. And here's that. Now, she gave me a 30-page long other list I couldn't get on here. That's printed and on the front of the desk out here. So if you want to see that. But Amber, you want to address this? I have questions. Are the TIF's changes due to the sales tax?
That is all, more money that we received than budgeted for TIF. So there's money that came in that offset all these
Because of an
expenses.
incremental tax increase?
Correct.
Okay.
So these are the funds that are actually, were over budget, total and expense. This isn't on an individual line item basis.
Okay.
This is all just, we only amend funds that are over expenses in total. So the first three numbers of those account numbers are the actual fund that we adjusted, but that's the actual full account number that we amended.
Okay.
Because those specific line items were over budget.
Can you detail what community outreach is?
That's a senior citizens fund.
Okay.
So that's a kind of a guess we estimate as far as what they're gonna pay out, but we always pay out what their board approves. So if they had more money, they always keep a reserve, so they pay out their excess funds. So we just, again, most of these have incoming revenues to offset these expenses, but we only amend the expense side.
Okay, one more question from me. The fines expense, is that due to the fine collection center closing by the state?
No, and Carrie knows more about the fines. Fund 20, the fines fund.
What's the question
The
about
money.
funds?
There was more
What
money
is the
that came in
fines
than
expense
yeah.
item? 28,000?
Well, each year we do a by enumeration, distribution of the fines that we collect throughout the year.
Okay,
Okay, and the fine collection center was one of the entities that collected, but no longer exists. Now it comes through the circuit clerk's office.
so it is the fine collection center, okay.
That no longer exists.
Right.
Okay, so, we get an enumeration from the county clerk's office and a breakdown, and then we pay it out once a year.
Okay, and,
And it's just an estimate. So
okay,
that's-
and my explanation of the fines collection center, the state used to do that, they stopped, so now the county has to handle all that. And
Correct.
last I heard, we'd hired 2 more employees to take care of that work.
In the
Over
circuit
across
clerk's
the
office,
country.
I believe so.
Yeah, and another thing is, all these funds are just raised revenue, increased revenue, that is, the budget amendment is just to get that properly in the books, so it's spent out the way it's supposed to be spent.
Correct.
Okay, yes,
Two things. One, when you hire those people, those are personnel that are paid by the state, so that those are not.
Right.
And then I just wanted to point out, and we knew this was, but the poll worker pay, you all authorized to pay because we were actually paying our poll workers less than minimum wage, and we bumped it up. And therefore, that wasn't foreseeable the year before to know that we were gonna pay them more, that's why.
okay.
Truly, you guys already approved us to make these amendments, but we said we would present the actual
Change.
numbers after our adjustments
Just
have
to
been
bring the
made.
books up to date.
And there may be additional budget changes by our independent auditors, but it would just be for reporting purposes only, as we are accrual basis, and they will bring us a cash basis for reporting. So they'll have to make some adjustments to our budget for that. But it will be presented in the independent audit once that audit is completed.
So you would like us to approve this request?
I would.
Okay, do I have a motion?
I move that we make the budget amendments as presented by the auditor.
I will second.
And any questions or comments? All of them, all in favor of bringing our budget up to date? Would I ask for an aye vote?
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you, Amber.
Yes.
Okay, Charles Gamble's gonna talk to us.
I'm Charles Gamble today, actually representing Farm Bureau Board. And this week has been designated as the Thank a Farmer Week. And we'd like to ask the commission to proclaim St. Francis County as part of it. And several of us that started out on the farm and no longer on the farm, that was normal situation anymore. We have 1 or 2% of the population are farmers, and they produce food and fiber for 166 people each. So it gives you an idea, you know, what the farm is doing. So we asked the commission if they would proclaim St. Francis County Packer Farmer Week this week.
I would move that we approve the recommendation on Mr. Gamble for Think of Farmer Week.
And I would second the motion.
And my comment is, I live in the neighborhood of the Dietrich Farms and the Lewis Farm, or now Crawford Farm, various other those large farms out there that have worked to keep their farms together. And I appreciate that. And of course, the new community moved in and bought up an existing farm and did not subdivide it, but an 800-acre farm there now. So, I have a motion second. Any questions, comments?
Commissioners, on July 2nd, 2018, we, the St. Francis County Commission, became an agglomerated county and submitted the paperwork. We spent weeks discussing with the Jordan Dalaveras, who is he's with the traffic study specialist for MoDOT in the Southeast District, going through the legal red tape to put up several St. Francis County is an agribusiness county. We also discussed with Ashley McCarty, who is with the Missouri Farmers Care, who spearheaded the group, you know, us being an agglomerated county. Agriculture is the backbone of the Missouri economy, generating $88.4 billion in 2016 alone. It's the largest sector job in the economy, and it supports 378,000 jobs. Being an agglomerated county encourages agricultural education, investment in the community, and the support of family farms and its values. This commission has always, since I've been elected and took office in January of 2009, has always been vocal and supported agriculture, and especially the University of Missouri Extension Office. So I'm proud to make that motion. Move forward.
And I would second the motion.
Any questions? Hit Charlie hard, whatever you've got, hit him hard with the question. Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Charles. Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, we will be closed on February 12th, that's a Wednesday. Now, Election Central, Mr. Clerk, do you want to talk about that?
We have to be open that day on Weber Road because that's the last day to register to vote with February 12th for the presidential. And we're currently, there's been 10 people that have already absentee balloted so far for the presidential election. I'm sure they've all voted for viable candidates, and since our records are better than Iowa, maybe they'll know who's going to be on the ballot. Something else that the office has done, Corey has sent out everybody, all the employees, their total compensation, because we have questions on that periodically, and it's not only talks about your annual hourly pay or salary, but it talks about how much we pay for medical under teen care, and that's a little bit under $8,000. It's got how much the county and the individual paid into their pension systems, both CERP and loggers, and details on Social Security and Medicare, how much they paid there. So for the total amount that has been given to them, and the reception's been pretty good. Then the chart she gave to everyone was how much was their compensation, how much were the benefits that were paid by the county. Something else that we
I always look at that as the actual cost we have of having that person as our employee.
Put another person on, yeah. It's not just the hourly wage, it's their benefits.
The old rule of thumb, it costs 150% of what you pay that person to have them here.
That's very, very similar to what
I've
we
seen
found on that.
down to 137, but 150 is a good number.
We're looking at a committee, a citizens committee. You asked about for looking at the county sheriff's deputy and jailers and everything, compensation. We're putting that together, and Corey will be sending out. We've got some people from the different parts of the county that are willing to serve on that to see where we're at, what we need to be doing to be competitive in that environment. and we will be setting the first meeting up in the next couple of weeks so that we will, the intention is to have a report back to the commission before summer so that you can figure that into your budget preparations for next year.
Interesting thing is, we announced a month ago, 2 months ago, whatever, that we were going to go to a higher starting wage for all of our employees and go to $12, I think, over a year or so. The day that hit the newspaper, the hospital announced they were going to a $15 minimum wage, starting wage. So we've really got to look at that in order to hire the good people we want. So,
Right now, I saw
and
the
the
paper.
benefits package is a big part of that.
Saw in the paper this week, one of our local banks has got 6 positions open right now, and they're presenting in very similar duty than what about 80 of our employees perform. So we have to be competitive in that environment. But in particular, this committee is going to be looking at our sheriff's department in comparison to other area sheriff's departments, in comparison to city, because we don't operate in a complete vacuum. If the cities are paying much more than the sheriffs, that's where the people will go to work, and so that we have to be competitive. Once again, we don't have to be the highest paid, but we have to be competitive. So that's where we're at from the human resource net. We've been uploading everything on video. Asked Dan to talk about that a little bit, where we're at, and we put the budget, everything from January 1st now, everything we spend money on is up on that system. We put a index to start so that you've got to look to see what department that is. So if you want to see what department it's you all know what those codes are, because you look down and say, well, that's the sheriff's, that's the county clerk, whatever. But we put that index, and then somebody can go through and see what was spent and in what department since January 1st. That went up, I think, yesterday?
Saturday.
And that'll be placed monthly for the prior month.
For the prior months. When we get the expenses in, we will put it up there. The other thing, all the videos now, we had a question whether there was a motion made and carried from 2 weeks ago that wasn't reflected in the minutes. And so we went back and looked to make sure that it was done correctly. And it was, but it was nice to be able to go back and say this was the exact moment that took
How
place.
does this affect, like, someone requesting a sunshine law request?
They can find it.
That's a great question. What the hope is, 2-3 years down the line, we will be able to say if it's anything that's 2020, January of 2020 to that point, they just need to look it up. And it's all done. So the person doesn't even have to file a sunshine request. It's totally available on the website, and they'll be able to do it. If it's prior to that, we'll still have to go to the files and pull it up. But if somebody wants to see the minutes from the minute, if they want to see the agenda to see that it reflected the same way, if they want to see what we spent money on to the dollar, they can just pull it up and look.
The budget, who went to
The
everything.
budget's up there, on the individual department budgets are up there.
And
So-
even the video of
and the video of the meetings, and we've got other stuff to come. Dan, did you want to give them a?
Before you jump into that, let me clarify one thing about sheriff's pay. The sheriff's department's on a different pay structure than anybody else. And so that's why I've done it this way rather than go through the structure that we would normally do. Okay.
Kevin pretty much nailed pretty much everything in his talking about what's on the website. But what we decided to do is to have on the home page, and I don't know if you've got the website up on your Google up there, but
No, I don't.
everything on the home page is there's a financial transparency tab now. That way, instead of folks having to go through trying to find through sales tax, auditors, it's all going to be on the home page. So if you go to the home page, scroll down about halfway, you'll see a tab called Financial Transparency. That's where everything's going to go now. All the monthly auditor reports, the sales tax report, the bills, the vendor history for the month, the budget, everything's going to go on that one location where folks can go to see everything that involving money is going to be located at. And again, right now we've got everything pretty much up there except for John's 2019 Highway Administrator Report. With that being your amended budget being approved today, that will go up this afternoon or tomorrow. And then we've just got a few other things that we just need to post up on there. But that's where we decided that everything's just going to.
You're having a training session we hope that every department has 1 to 2 people that are
Right.
qualified to upload things for
I've got the list of those employees as far as going to be the designated office holders, website folks. We just had a rescheduled meeting that we were going to have last month, but it'll be a very soon project. So
Typically a 1 or 2 day lag in posting.
typically, yes.
Okay.
Typically, depending on what else I have to do. And all
So
that
basically,
stuff.
any information you want to be on
Right,
that
it's
site.
our YouTube channel link is on the homepage as well. There's a little article under the welcome to our website. As far as the link straight to our YouTube page, as well at the bottom, click on the icon, it gets you to our YouTube link as well for our video that we post weekly. So
I'd just like to thank you and your department for bringing us into the current age, and I know we got a ways to go, but we've come a long way.
right, it's still, I
It's
mean,
appreciated.
it's still a evolving process as far as, you know, it's being updated frequently. So just encourage folks to always check the site and.
But he just nailed something. He said on this day and age, well, there's still people that don't do computers.
No.
So if whoever wants to know something, what's the process they would use?
There you go.
Contact the office as far as, again, if they don't have access.
Turn in that request.
If they don't have access to, you know, that type of.
So that didn't
technology,
change.
So, no, they'll still have to do it the old school way, so.
Any comments, questions? Yes, sir.
Commissioner, to clarify your 1 to 2 day
Yeah.
lag time, our office, the auditor's office, will be happy to comply with that when everybody submits their timely reports to our office. And as of last week, we were still waiting for some December reports to come in.
Yeah. So just, when everything's approved, we don't, obviously, we don't wanna post anything that's not approved, by the department heads and also by the commission. So, like Louis said, it's just whenever it's approved and it's submitted to us. we'll be able to-
Are these, people that submit that, they're aware that it needs to be timely so it can be placed on there? Or?
Oh, they're very
I
aware.
think I've gotten several.
Hey, well, I mean, I don't know
emails.
if we could be of assistance, but everybody's got to kick in.
Okay, thank you. Persevere. Okay, next meeting, February 11. That's 1 week from today, right here. Then the next day, the commissioners, all of us, must attend. Must is a critical word, February 12th through the 14th. County Commissioners Association of Missouri. There's many hundreds of dollars penalty, maybe a couple thousand.
About 700.
I thought more than that, if you do not attend. So it's an important meeting for us. But that's,
So, and it's, all the county commissioners in the state of Missouri will be required to attend. So there's quite a group of people who swarm on Columbia that week, that day.
other business, correspondence. Public comments. Departmental reports.
Commissioner, I just
Yes.
want to point out that Amber has worked many hours finalizing a U.S. Department of Commerce and U.S. Census Bureau audit. Actually, I think they're actually just calling it a friendly report, and 22 pages of government information that previously, at least what we could find, had not been ever submitted after an annual request. I want to thank Amber for putting this together.
Thank you. This doesn't surprise me somehow. There's many hours of work. I just read a report that in our county, for the since 1980, 40 years, every census report shows us over a 15% increase. So if that holds true this year, in 2020, we will go to 75+ thousand, if that holds true. But I think it's accelerating a little bit. So we'll see how it works out. Okay. Any other comments, departmental reports? About to run out of a meeting.
I move we adjourn.
All in favor, aye. Thank you all for attending, we appreciate it.
How many townships, man?
Oh, yeah, we'll, I got some.